Hello again there, YouTube fans. This is the real Creepy Doll Man here. I'm back with an all-new episode. But this is not a normal episode. This is a triple episode. So what that means, the real Creepy Doll Man will work 3 times as hard for all YouTube fans and all you diehard Real Creepy Doll Man fans from around the world. It is March the 22nd of 2021. Time is now 3:13 a.m. Okay, let's go back and continue off where we were. Pick up the trail that, let's go back to the last thing I say in part 2, that the real Creepy Doll Man decided to, I don't remember if I called my cousin or not, or she called me through my own mother. I asked her exactly where did she seen a doll at, that she asked and told me there was a place that sold these type of dolls, these Raggedy Ann dolls. And I didn't get to call her till the day after my birthday. And it was in August the 25th of 2016. It was on a Thursday. Now her husband, which is my cousin, his name is Sid, he wasn't working that day. So I got lucky. And this place, it closed I think around 4:30. So we went kind of early. I think it was after 2 or 2:30 is when we got there. And we had to rush because this place closed. Now this place, it sits on Teller Boulevard, not too far from the Churchill Downs. It's called Tickle Pink, and it's here in the heart of Louisville, Kentucky. Now this place has been around. It's sort of a memorabilia, I can't pronounce it, memorabilia, or sort of like an antique mall, where they sell everything from, say probably 1930s all the way up to, 2000 and something. But they sell old and new, sort of like slightly used stuff, from vintage to new. And sort of the stuff, some of the stuff was actually still in the boxes, and some of it wasn't in the boxes. But I decided, what the heck, why don't we go there? So we went the scenic route. We went to Old Louisville to get there. And we had to go through this ordeal. We had to go through Old Louisville to get there from the street we had to go on. So they drove all the way through Old Louisville and drive to that part to turn to Teller Boulevard. They had to go down the street that was going toward the Churchill Downs and turn off and turn from there. We had made a left when we went there. And it was a long drive there, but we finally got there. When we did get there, it was the first time I went in the store. I got to meet Tony and I got to meet Randy. Now, Tony is the owner of the store, and Randy is his partner. Now, I don't know their history about each other, but I know he owns 2 stores. Tony and Randy does. They both own these stores together. And I went to the main one, the main store, the big one, the first one. The little store I didn't go to until probably before closing almost. And they told me in my return that they had stuff in there you wouldn't believe. I had looked in there. I asked the guy if he had any Raggedy Anns. He said, we have any of them, you better have to look around, because he couldn't decide where he had them at. He had them all over the place. He had the old nickel blocker versions, plus he had the ones that are handmade as well. Now, in the term, if I wanted them, I had to look for them, is what he said. So I had to look around the store. I decided to go to the basement first to look around. Nothing in there. I also looked around probably upstairs before I went in the basement. But then my cousin stopped me before I decided to go to the basement first. She said she saw a couple Raggedy Anns upstairs. And in doing so, I went upstairs to look around. There are like 3 rooms. There's this one tiny small room. It would be more considered like, I would say probably a little attic, more likely, space, because it's not that big. And there's not much to store in there because it was a very small space. So this room is very small than what compared to my room is. And this room is a lot larger than that. But you could still go in there and look around. Inside, there were different things in there. I saw some Vanna White dolls. I saw some wrestlers. And on the shelf, I saw a few of the dolls I wanted. I had purchased 4 of these Raggedy Ann dolls. This was the last doll I purchased but there's a catch. This one didn't have any clothes on back then. I had to take this dress off another doll before I can give her this dress. And doing so, I gave it to her. And no, I said, well, it's close to what I could get because we couldn't find what I was looking for. In return, I was hoping to get a big Raggedy Ann doll. Instead, I was very disappointed to get one. And instead, he had other dolls, and I was still looking for it. I told him, if you have any more dolls, please let me know. I'll definitely be back. I bought the doll and purchased it the day after my birthday, which was after my birthday was on the 24th. So August the 25th, I went in there at the perfect time to find them. Wasn't for my cousin making that call, or I make that call one. I don't know who did. It's either me or it was her make that phone call. I wouldn't got the doll to this very day. Little did we know, there are spirits attached to these dolls. I've done several videos to prove that. My first video came out on August the 30th of 2016. Never released to the public. And there's another one I done backwards. It was supposed to be number 1. Instead, I done it for number 2. And they were both shot on the same day, on August the 30th of 2016. Not 2020, I mean 2016, my mistake. They were both released on August the 30th of 2016, the day before Brandon's, anniversary of his death where he was killed. And I decided to release that video. That I didn't release that video for a long time. Now, my cousin got me into doing these episodes. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be in this mess to begin with. We have found out there are spirits attached to these dolls. And I have been attacked. I've been probably, you wouldn't want to know because I ain't going to say it on cam here, but I have been attacked. And I have, off and on, we have something balling me in my bed, but I ain't going to say what they were doing with me in my bed. But, there's some incidents that has happened here. I had the door even open, just barely, for something to look out. Or even crack the door to hear me when I go through the hallway. I've seen this door crack open many times. And I even hear one day it did open. But just go back to say that it didn't stop there, because I think the real big mess is when I brought the Cheyenne doll in, we had this problem. And now we have multiply to a great number. In doing so, after I got this, I'd done the video. There, the Annabelle doll appears in the second video without me knowing, which was shot backwards, which was the first video, the very first video I'd done backwards, shot before we knew there were spirits attached to them. Now, my cousin, he claims he knows Morse code, and I showed him some weird videos one day. We have done one just to see what happened on my smartphone, and it's only affecting 100% the smartphone and not the light itself. So I decided we would do something anyway. This is where the Real Creepy Doll Man invented a new episode that people have never seen, and we done some of them off record and on record. And we had made a lot of errors trying to release the episode. So what we call it was communicating with our spirit friends. Now, there's several episodes on that. And there's only one of them that was incomplete. But we done it backwards. We're going to do it backwards to finish 13. And we incomplete number 14. But there are so many episodes that we were releasing. Now, the Annabelle doll was told in one of those episodes. It was done off record because the Real Creepy Doll Man has made an error on making a decision who to release first. And we made an error on a couple of them episodes. But we did communicate with a spirit claiming to be Annabelle. Now, we didn't know what the age of this spirit was. So we had to go back. Probably I did it before her first or second anniversary to communicate with the spirit again. And in doing so, we found out this spirit gave us an age. The spirit claims to be Annabelle, but not Annabelle Hagen's. And we've been communicating with the spirit quite a bit. And this spirit claims to be over 666 years old. To this very day, it's been puzzling me. Why did he give us an age that's 666 years old? And I'll give you my conclusion before the very end of this episode, what I have to tell you. And if you believe it or not, you probably wouldn't believe me. But let's say there is a spirit attached to this doll because we had communicate with this one. And in doing so, we didn't know if there was a spirit attached to it or not. But in return, there is a spirit attached to this doll. We didn't know for sure until we communicate with it. We had made a mistake in an error on the very first or second episode of releasing communicating with our spirit friends. So we kept that one off record. But I have it somewhere on memory card, if it's still here or not. If it is lost or deleted, the Real Creepy Doll Man's made a decision. For communicating with our spirit friends, part 14 of part 2, we will go back and tell that episode that is missing. And in doing so, we are hoping to find out what the name of the spirit is to make sure it is, in fact, a female demonic spirit. But there is really speculations, and I'm going to say this in the next video, what I believe what this thing could be. Now watch for the final conclusion of the Real Creepy Doll Man from Louisville, Kentucky tells another true story about the real Annabelle doll. Watch for part 4, the final conclusion. This is the Real Creepy Doll Man saying, I will be back for the final conclusion, so don't go away. Stick around for the last conclusion.